Michael and I am here today to talk to you about the bow. The bow is the most important thing in the violin, I think, because it really makes the sound. The violin is a beautiful instrument, but at the end of the day, it's just a wooden box. It's this thing that makes it truly magical and truly fantastic. So, I just want to talk a little bit about the bow. As we all know, it's made of wood. We've got the frog here. Don't ask me why it's called a frog, it just is. This is made of horsehair because it's very strong and very soft. We don't kill horses. I'm going to throw that in there because I have been asked that once or twice. And the other thing, of course, is we've got the point, which is this little pointy bit on the end, which is quite important actually, as we'll get to in a few minutes' time. Lovely. Now, how do you hold the bow? There's lots of different schools of thought on this, but the main way to start off is to get your hand in this lovely, nice, floppy, loose position. So it's like as if you were going to sort of, I don't know, say hello to someone, but in a very loose sort of wave. Hello. I hope you don't wave quite as floppy as that, but it needs to be nice and loose. And what you're going to do is just drop your hand onto the frog. Best way to have it is to have the point pointing to the left. This is that way for me. So we're going to have it pointing to the left, hand's going to flop down onto the frog. The next thing I'm going to do is just try and keep it nice and loose. I'm not going to do anything other than get comfortable with where it actually is. Flop down, and that's where it lives. Your thumb, I'm going to try and move so you can see. I'm going to try and bend a little bit like this so that my thumb is bending up there. Do you see how it's bending? And then the rest of my hands are just going to get comfortable and stay where they are. My first finger is going to curl a little bit over here. Third and fourth are going to stay nice and comfortable here, glued into the frog. And then, of course, your pinky is just on the end here. Lovely, that's great. So, as we do that, we're then going to bend up and down. This is what I like to do, bending up and down and doing sort of finger pull-ups. Try and keep that thumb bent if you can and make sure that it's really, really strong and comfortable. Absolutely beautiful. The next thing that you can do is you can start doing some shapes with your bow. What I do is I tend to do some circles like this. Now, at the beginning, you're going to need to use your arm. Then you'll start to use your wrist. And then, eventually, the way that you do that is by strengthening your fingers and getting them really, really strong. And I do that by doing these shapes every day, making sure that I'm getting those shapes. You can do a square, turn a little bit so you can see my square, and then a triangle, three-sided shape. Brilliant. And you can also do a kite maybe. And I enjoy this one in particular. To making sure that I'm getting a really nice bow hold is called spider crawl, and I crawl up the bow using my hand. So I'm going to crawl all the way up using only my fingers. Be really careful not to drop it. Now, crawling down is the most difficult because you have to use your little finger to really help propel you down the stick. Try not to touch the bow hair if you can help it. That is really lovely, well done. Oh, I made it to the bottom. Hooray! Now, back to position. I'm going to hold the bow with my hand facing to the left and flop my hand down onto the bow to get it nice and comfy. My thumb is just going to nestle into that little groove in there, and then the rest of my fingers are going to make contact. First finger crooked over, second and third here, fourth on the end. That's really nice, well done. And now we have a lovely bow hold and we are ready to play. Keep your bow hold all the time. Watch it and make sure that it is not moving or changing or doing anything funky. A lot of things can happen where your thumb starts to straighten. It's a very common one. Try and keep it bent if you possibly can. Lovely. I'm now going to bring the violin to me and we're going to make some music with our bow. Now, when I put my bow down on the string, I remember what I spoke about balance. Balance is really important. I'm balancing the violin on my shoulder. The bow is balancing on the string. It's all about balance. You mustn't press down. It's across and dragging it across the string. That's what's really important. It's like ice skating, but with a bow. So we're going to start on the D string. I'm just going to do some long Ds. As you can see, I'm using my whole bow. I'm going through the whole thing. It's lovely, well Well done, what a great sound you're making. Now I'm going to the A. Sometimes you might catch into the string, so watch the angle of your bow. Where is it angling? Think about where it is. I like to do air violin, or bow rocking as I call it, where I rock between the strings so I can feel the distances, feel the gaps. It's really important to know exactly where you are on your strings. Lovely. Then you can do some changing. Fantastic, well done. So now we're feeling a little bit more comfortable with the bow. Hopefully we can start to look at different ways of playing with the bow in our next video. Thank you very much for joining me today.